views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Greetings upon greetings.
Welcome everybody.
You know, there's kind of like way too many cameras going on, so I looked at that camera right there first, knowing that it's not a camera.
I'm gonna ignore Dave right
like,
now.
My eyes are
Welcome everybody to Here to Help You on my TCN TV network. So I'm excited. It's a Tuesday, of course. It's the last few warm days of summer, so soak it up, because this is it. You guys realize after that last hot spell, it just goes downhill from here.
Reminds me of an very old Egyptian story.
We don't want to hear it right now.
I'll tell it one day.
So, today's show, I'm going to warn everybody ahead of time. Some of the material is going to make some people uncomfortable. And if at any time you have any questions, feel free to give us a call live at 647-931-4701. You can you can ask us questions here if you do have any, or of course you can comment in the live feed on YouTube, and naturally we're going to ask you guys to like, comment, and share this, because again, this information is very important, very important, and we're going to really dig into why it is. I want to, of course, welcome my co-host with the most, DJ Dave Rankin.
Here, alongside the Danette. A long time I don't call her Danette, you know, but she gets one today. Simone Jennifer Submit.
Me, all me. And of course, our lovely, beautiful, powerful, talented production manager.
Big up yourself, my girl.
Miss Salina McCallum.
We need to get one of those cameras that sits like
over her head, so people can see her.
Yes, just the top of her head and her
too.
fingers.
So today we're going to actually start a journey with you that some of you may already be on. It started for some of you, or you know, you got a little sidetracked from it, or you're maybe at the very beginning. We're going to start a journey called self-exploration. Okay, so there's often some discomfort when it comes to exploring self. Dave, do you know why this could be? Like, why do people, you think, feel so uncomfortable about really delving into self?
Because it's the ugly parts, right? They don't want to really own up to the ugly parts.
Yeah, everyone likes to paint themselves like they do on Facebook and Instagram as these amazing people who do all this community work, and they're great, and they're doing this, and they're doing that. But meanwhile, their life mash up behind the scenes.
Well, I mean, there's so much that their life is mash up. It's just, like
who
they are as a person, right?
It's just mash up. Call it what it is. Listen, I can speak from personal experience. There's some things in my life that is well mash up, but I'm working on them, right?
Cool.
I can admit it. This is called exploration of self. So you're right, Dave. Sometimes people dread taking an honest look at themselves because they're afraid of what they're going to see.
True thing.
So in the third segment, we're actually going to do an exercise that I'm excited about that will help with the beginning of this process. And in the last segment, we're actually going to provide some questions for the viewers to allow you to actually form a map for your journey. Because again, with any journey, you need to have a direction and you usually need some type of map. And unfortunately, with self-exploration, you can't Google it. Sorry, you're gonna have to actually do the work yourself here. In the first two segments, we're gonna take a look at some ideas circulating life and how we live it. And some of you may have had some problems with a question that's pretty basic. How do you feel? Do you know that some people can't even answer that?
Yeah.
Like how do you feel? I recommend pausing the video right here and really asking yourself that question. So take a pause. How do you feel in this moment? And see how quickly you can answer that. Okay? Pause. Okay, you're back. You're back. There's a reason why, for some of you, if you had problems answering this, it's because for years, many of us suppressed our emotions, and we actually cut off our own internal dialogue. So this is why introspection is extremely important. So, what is introspection, you ask? So, introspection is just a really fancy word for your understanding of your own mental and emotional states. Very simple. The only way to understand your own mental and emotional state is to start asking yourself some questions. And of course, like I said earlier, we're going to be providing most of these questions for you today, okay?
Go on with it.
So let's start with something real simple. What do you want out of life? What is it that you want out of life? Try to answer this question honestly. Don't tell me what your parents wanted from you or what your sister or your brother or your friends. I want you to really think about, what do you want out of life? People talk about goal setting, but how are you going to set goals if you have no idea what you really want? Really think about this, regardless of your age or the thoughts of limitations that you have on yourselves. What do you want? Because sometimes we don't even want to think, we can't think about what we want because we, again, have the instant, yes,
right,
these blockages, these limitations that others have put on you and that you have put on yourself. So now that you've begun to think about what you want out of life, and again, this is after that pause. I'm hoping everyone can pause and think about some of this stuff. So you can pause. The good thing about YouTube and stuff after the live feed is you can actually pause the video. Is let's start looking at what might be considered on this journey of learning self. So one of the first things you're going to be faced with is the fact that there's going to be some very disheartening events from loneliness, depression, or unfair treatment at the hands of others. Understand that adversity, difficult as they are to get through, can actually enrich your life.
I just say that there's an old Egyptian proverb which says that adversity is the seed of well-doing.
Yeah, like,
right?
You know what? It's through my toughest moments that I've learned my most.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes people don't want to stay in that. They'll try to find ways to escape. Drugs, alcohol.
Right.
Mind you, I've done both where I've tried to escape those and it didn't work. It wasn't until I actually faced the adversity and worked through it, no matter how long it took, was I actually really able to learn from it and grow from it. So something else we have to also face the fact that we are ultimately alone in our skin. People can have an understanding, people can be empathetic of you, but at the end of the day, you are alone in your own skin. You have your own programming. You have your own DNA. You share genetics. Only people who actually share genetics are twins, right? So as understanding as everyone can be, you really have to face a lot of this stuff by yourself. And we must understand that we have a freedom of choice. But exercising this freedom of choice requires us to be responsible for the consequences of our choice.
I think that's probably the biggest thing where we face as challenges.
Yes, it's those consequences. People say they want freedom, but when you really want freedom, you now have the freedom to make you're forever, sometimes I think people are sometimes always at this fork in the road. And you have to decide, do I go left or do I go right?
Or
and
just keep going straight.
Or you can't go straight, it's a fork in the road.
Capadonna went straight.
Or you can go straight. I don't even know why I deal with you sometimes. But regardless if you go left, right, or straight, you've got to deal with the fact that that choice is going to have positives and it's going to have negatives. And you've got to decide if you're willing to deal with not only the positives, but the negatives of that choice.
Yeah, that's why we say freedom is not free.
Freedom is not free because it's still choice and decisions and responsibilities.
There you go.
When we get back, we're going to go a little bit more into this journey of self-exploration. And I really hope that you guys, honestly, grab those pens, grab a piece of paper, get ready to sit down and go through this video. We really want our community to start working on self. It's the only way we can actually truly help others. We'll see you on soon.
Nice. We'll see you real soon.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
There's an African-American song, 19th century, which is so great. It says, when it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. Imagine. And I've had so many rainbows in my clouds. I had a lot of clouds, but I have had so many rainbows. And one of the things I do when I step up on a stage, when I stand up to translate, when I go to teach my classes, when I go to direct a movie, I bring everyone who has ever been kind to me with me. Black, white, Asian, Spanish-speaking, Native American, gay, straight, everybody. I say, come with me. I'm going on the stage. Come with me, I need you now. Long dead, you see? So I don't ever feel I have no help. I've had rainbows in my clouds. And the thing to do...
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back.
She's just a remarkable woman.
I swear, like you can tell when there's been angels put here on earth.
Yes.
Maya Angelou was definitely one of them.
For sure.
So, got my water. So this is actually really cool. I want to thank Miss Akua from Akua Gems.
Yes.
It's actually water with crystals, rose quartz. It's all about love at the bottom of my water. And it's giving me life right now. All right, so welcome back to Here to Help You guys. And if you're just joining us, Dave and I are talking about why people are sometimes afraid to do self-exploration and self-work. So what have your thoughts been so far, Dave, on what we've kind of covered?
You know, today's show is definitely going to be something that's very instrumental. Hopefully it will go ahead and spark just more than dialogue amongst our viewers, but really some sort of introspection as we started with the top of the show. Our aim once again is to make sure that we leave these bits of gems so that way we can go ahead and make sure that our community can be taken care of.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the only way they can be taken care of is if they have to start taking care of themselves. You have to. It's very important. It's okay to be selfish, especially if you're being selfish to grow. So you may be skeptical about the notion that your life is yours to construct as you wish. You may feel powerless in the grip of your circumstances. And what you should avoid to do during these times is to become that person who all of us dislike.
Dun, dun, dun.
The victim. The victim mentality. So how does the victim look? And I want you to be aware of people in your life who may be like this, and why you have them in your life, and what this may actually say about you, because projection is real. So if you had someone in your mind already who you were thinking about, I want you to do a quick look in the mirror as well, okay? So victims may feel like they are in control of others because they are able to have others comfort them. In actuality, as a victim, we give up a great deal of our freedom to explore more constructive possibilities for our life. An advantage for an individual who feels like a victim is they may feel a little bit self-righteous, and they may feel some moral superiority. Another advantage they may see is that they're in control of others, and they can control others through guilt that they induce on them. Some disadvantages of being having the victim mentality. People who feel like they're victims, or people who are feeling like they are victims, will sometimes project blame, and this can lead to paranoia. They begin to suspect people, everybody, of being untrustworthy or even out to get them. So it's something to keep in mind. They may begin to see themselves as helpless and gradually give up on their ability to make changes that would actually improve their life. One way to avoid falling into the victim trap is to observe and take in examples of people who have suffered worse setbacks than you have, and who've actually achieved and been able to achieve personal success. Today, it's just one of those days. Personal success, wow, in spite of serious limitations. So I have some examples. I'm sure you may have some as well, Dave, but the examples I could think of firsthand were Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
She's a huge example. People have heard her story. Ray Charles.
Yes.
This man, born blind, well, then wasn't born blind, but went blind, and was still able to achieve large success, even going through like being a drug addict, and
right.
not a small drug, a heavy drug, heroin.
Right. Heroin.
So he was able to overcome all of that. Stevie Wonder, born blind. Helen Keller, the creator of Braille, was born blind and deaf.
That's right.
And she was able to live a full life, even though she was unable to see and hear. And I think the one that a lot of people probably remember is Christopher Reeves.
Yes, Superman.
This man, like, I used to love some Superman. Let me tell you right now. When I was younger, the original Superman, when I heard what happened to Christopher Reeves, I was extremely sad. But he continued again, even though he was a quadriplegic, he still did great things after that.
True.
And he never took on this. You know, I'm sure there was times he probably did maybe feel like a victim. I'm sure there's probably times where he's like, why me? But I guarantee he never stayed there, because he had the right people around him to encourage him and to support him. So that's another thing that's very important, is to have the right people around. And just, again, there was something inside him that said, I even though this is where I am, I can still do more. So this is why sometimes, I won't lie, it frustrates me sometimes with people, sometimes people in my own life who, yes, you might be going through things, and I get that, but there's people who've gone through worse, and they've come through and strived.
True.
Right?
But you know, it's the willingness to be open.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I'm sure Christopher Reeves allowed himself to be open, so that way he can get himself to be here.
Yeah.
Right? If we go back to now Ray Charles' story, even with the movie with Jamie Foxx, right, portrayed him, he had support from his mother, who didn't allow him to go and get sunken. Right, in those feelings.
You are not a victim. You are not a cripple. She kept saying that to him. You don't let anybody treat you like that.
There you go.
Right? So sometimes it's the people that you do have around. If you have people, and that's the thing, is if you have people around who are, and this is where the whole, like, that manipulation comes in,
right,
who are going to be like, oh, poor you. oh, that's not cool.
Right.
No. And if you have someone around doing that, they're probably not for you. You need to have the people who be like, nah, man, don't limit yourself. Push yourself. You need that, right? But sometimes they say, misery, love our company. So you have to be mindful. So, question for you to think about. Have you ever enjoyed the role of a victim? Try to think of an instance when you have had an opportunity to make demands upon others because of your underdog status. That's a little bit of a heavy one, and I don't want to say why it's a heavy one, but I will definitely say this. You guys should check out a YouTube video called The Black Card by Candace Owens. Some of you may get mad watching it, but she talks about that, about how black people use the black card to get what they want. Not my words, her words. Who are your role models? Who is one person you could use as a model who has overcome adversity and obstacles and has become a success? So pick your own. Like, you don't have to pick any of the ones that we put up there, but who is that you know who's gone through worse than you and is doing great things in whatever field you're in, okay? And we're going to take it to the next level. In our next segment, as promised, we are going to provide you with a visual exercise that will help you understand your level of awareness and hopefully push you past this victim mentality. Do you want to add anything before we go on break, Dave?
You know, I look forward to the exercise afterwards. So
it is really cool.
Let's go ahead and get to commercial.
Okay, we'll see you guys soon.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Here to Help You on my TCN TV network. If you are just joining us, we have started down the road of self-exploration, and we're slowly taking our community through this. And as we said in the first episode, or the first segment, sorry. What's wrong with me today? Jeez. In the first segment, some of you may have already started this journey, so you're well on the way. Some of you started and stopped, which is okay, because you can start again. And some of you are at the very beginning. So it doesn't matter where you are in the journey. Today, we are still going to help you get through this process. So one thing that Dave and I strive to do is to not just present problems, but to also present solutions.
Yeah.
So our first half, we presented some of the problems. The last half, we're going to present solutions. So during my research, I found something called the Johari window. This is actually used in, and we're going to hold this there for a second, and then we're going to go through each quadrant. So on the screen there, you see 4 boxes. These 4 boxes represent everything there is to know about you, which will include such things as your values, your interests, and your likes and dislikes, okay? This was developed actually in the 1950s by an American psychologist named Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. The model has become widely used to help people understand the relationships that they have and for improving communication with others. So there's 4 of them there, and let's discuss what each quadrant means. So Quadrant 1, open. So in the area of free activity, or the open area, this represents behaviors, feelings, and motivations known to ourselves and to others.
Okay.
All right, so that's the very first one. In Quadrant 2, this is your blind. So in the blind area, this represents a situation in which other people can see things in us which we are unaware.
Okay.
All right? Quadrant number 3 is the avoided or the hidden area. This represents things that we know but that we do not reveal to others. So this includes hidden agendas or strategies or matters about which we have some sensitive feelings. Okay? And the last quadrant, quadrant 4, is the unknown. So in the area of the unknown, this area represents neither we or other people are aware of certain motives or feelings that are in us. So this is something that this is completely unknown to everybody. Yet we can assume that they exist because eventually some of these things become known. And we then, realize that these unknown motives or feelings were influencing our relationships all the time. So they stay unknown for a minute and then they come to light eventually. Okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about changes in these quadrants. And the reason I wanted you to see them is because I want you to imagine how it looks when these changes happen. Okay?
Gotcha.
So Selena, we're going to put back up the 4. And this is something you guys can actually, for yourselves, make the quadrant and write them down. And you can literally visualize some of the changes that are about to happen. So I'm going to go through some of the changes and try to picture it with the visual. Okay. First thing that we have to realize is a change in one of the quadrants will affect all the other quadrants, which makes sense. That's balance. Right? So introspection tends to increase quadrants 1 and quadrants 3.
Okay.
All right? Interpersonal learning means a change has taken place in quadrant 1, which is open, and it's usually larger, and one or more of the other quadrants has gotten smaller.
That makes sense.
So quadrant 1 has gotten, this is when interpersonal, so you become a lot more open.
Exactly.
Okay? If quadrant 1 is small, then there's poor communication because now you're completely closed. Okay? There is a universal curiosity about the area of the unknown to either self or others, which is quadrant 4, but this is usually held in check by customs, social training, and fear. So think about that. This area of unknown, parts of ourselves that we could discover, we don't because we have religion that may control that, we have social norms, we have parents, we have people who will tell you that there's certain parts of you that you shouldn't let go.
Right.
Okay? Sensitivity means appreciating the covert aspects of behavior in quadrants 2, 3, and 4, and respecting the desire of others to keep them so. So, sensitivity, covert, keeping certain things covered.
Yes.
That's quadrants 2, 3, and 4.
Which also makes sense.
Okay?
Yeah.
When the hidden or avoided area, so we're talking about quadrant 3, is reduced, usually through self-disclosure, less energy is tied up in defending that area. So if you take the time to actually self-disclose, that part gets smaller. That hidden part of you gets closed, which makes sense again, because now you're sharing those parts of you that are hidden. Okay? A key assumption is that as quadrant 1 increases, a person will experience greater satisfaction with his or her work and social interactions. So that quadrant 1 is extremely important.
Right.
The bigger that is, the better you are.
Gotcha.
Okay? Definitely, I'm going to suggest to everybody to draw this out and try it on your own and see how this speaks to you. Okay? So this is called the Johari window. What did you think about this, Dave? Because a lot of this stuff I know is kind of new for you as well. But when you were going at that, what struck you with the windows? Different windows.
You know, I think a lot of our people who are going through this journey, they probably go through some stage of this already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, without even, of course, going through the technical terms. Right. I think it's a very practical exercise.
Yes, that's why I liked it. It's very easy. You can just sketch it out.
Right, and also it allows us to go ahead and put things down on paper. Right. A lot of times comes to mind. It may come to mouth, but it never really truly comes out.
Right.
Right, and of course the whole spiritual aspect of releasing as well, is to put it on paper. Right. So I like the fact that what this can do for us, you know, especially now with the first quadrant
open,
just because
that's the picture of you,
of me, right? We look kind of both, you know.
It's a good picture.
Shoulder look kind of round, but still
shine.
Second. You know, but it goes to show you that if we as a people, if we're not open to certain experiences, right, we now close ourselves off from the enrichment that we so speak.
Absolutely.
Right?
But it's very important that in doing so that we are learning, you have to understand it. The self-disclosure part is the part that, of course, said that once you start self-disclosing, you become a lot more open.
Right.
That's the part that I think a lot of us have a problem with. We like to keep things hidden.
Right.
Right? But you know what they say, whatever's done in darkness,
of course,
will always come to light.
It drops on the bottom.
What Dave said,
yes,
okay? But it's important for us to realize that these things about us are going to come out anyways.
Right.
So I've always said that I always like to tell people, when I met Dave, I told Dave the worst of me up front. I said, this is who I am. There's certain aspects of my life. My trauma has allowed me to be where I am. It's, again, not where I'm going to stay, but this is who I am right now. Can you put up with that? And I gave him the decision to say yay or nay. It's not like I presented this pretty face of a person who's, you know, doing this and that, and then all of a sudden, as he started to get to know me, he found out my dirty secrets. I was like, look, if you can handle the mucky side, what I'm telling you right now, rest of me's a breeze. And he hung around, so apparently it wasn't too bad. He has nothing to say.
I'm still here. That's the most I can say, right?
So when we come back, our last segment is actually going to give you some more time to do some reflection. So we'll actually have in our next segment our last, maybe about 4 or 5 questions that I'm going to give to you guys that are going to help you with, alongside the Johari window, will help you to begin to really dig into self. And please listen, if you have any comments, leave them below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask any questions about this. This is a topic that's very important to me because I see what self-exploration has done in my life. I see how it has helped me change, become real with myself, become more authentic. And you know what? Accept who I am, even if other people don't accept me. We'll see you soon. I'm here to help you.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
The ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Yeah, we got a couple comments on YouTube.
Do we? Okay, let's hear some of these comments.
You know, I want to say shout outs to Trish and Trisha Curling.
Wagwan curling.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, girl.
She absolutely loved the exercise. Also with Paula, big up Miss P.
Big up, Miss P.
Right. The quadrants are key to know others and as well as ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad that people were able to take some from that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, I mean, you know what? Like, at the end of the day, what people are looking for is something really practical and as well as simplified, right? And I think sorry, I don't remember.
Johari window.
There we go, Johari. It sounds African, doesn't it, right?
Yeah, it does.
All right, Johari window. What it provides to us is something, an excellent way to go ahead and actually begin the process.
This is used in
Right.
a lot of different places, eh? They use this in business.
Right.
This is a great business. Sometimes the quadrants change names
They
a little
change the
bit
name.
because it's depending on the industry you're working with.
Right.
But for just personal, this was a lot simpler. I didn't want to use all some of the fancier ones that they had there, but the Johari window has been used in many different industries, so it's something that's very popular. So now it's reflection time. Again, I would definitely say between each question to maybe pause the video and take time and write down some answers. This is something for those who are serious about wanting to get out of the circumstances that they're in. And when I say serious, I mean being prepared to do the work, because it's not easy, right? Some of these questions are going to be difficult to answer.
Yeah.
And you may not want to answer them, but it's going to help you in the future. And I guarantee if you go through this and start this, it gets easier, all right? So, do you consider yourself responsible for how your life is going right now? So that's your first question. Do you find yourself responsible for how your life is going right now? Take a moment to pause this and answer the question. What do you want for yourself from this experience that we call life? Think about that. What do you want? Are you doing what you want? What do you want from this experience? Think about what problems and personal concerns you are willing to explore. How deep are you willing to go into your life to understand why you may act how you do right now? This exploration is not only looking at the genetics, because some things are passed, it's a dispositional thing, but some things are learned from our environment.
Yeah.
And exploration allows you to look at, you know, is this me because my parents were this way? Is this because I watched them act a certain way my whole life? Was the neighborhood that I grew up in why I'm acting like this? And again, these are things that you, again, like and dislike about yourself. So take that time to take a look at these things. Identify one goal. And I say this because I'm going to break this down. You cannot try to rush into this and do this all at once. If you do it, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to do it. So I want you to pick one goal for yourself that you intend to accomplish today, next week, in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, and then in a year. So you're going to really break things down. You're going to look at what you can do for yourself today. It could be as simple as, I'm going to try to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning to start my workout. You may try and fail. Try it again the next day. Don't give up. And then the next week you may have a bigger goal. And then the next month you might have an even bigger goal than that. But you have to start, in order for you to start setting these goals, though, again, you have to kind of know where you're at. So this is after you start to begin the exploration process that you can start setting these goals for yourself. I want you to complete the following sentence. In general, I view life as, again, in general, I view life as, and what I want most in life is, ... Again, the question is, what I want most in life is. So before we close off, Dave, do you have some last minute words before we end our show today?
We just want our people to go ahead and understand that they're not alone in this journey, right? By means, of course, if you are someone out there that would like to go ahead and do something like this, simply doesn't know where to go ahead and start, reach out.
We're here.
Reach out.
We're here to help. No pun intended. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for starting this exploration journey with us. Again, subscribe, like, comment my TCN TV network on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook.
You got them all.
We'll see you next week, and we're going to leave you off with a little video about really how quickly life goes. See you guys next week.
Peace and love, family.